Today, we're going to be talking about the voices in your head, the voices outside of your head, what types of voices you might be hearing, and what does it mean for you? Why is this happening? So I'm really happy that you found this. If you're listening to it, I'm going to help you know that you're not crazy and you're not making it up, and you are having spiritual experiences that you may want to look into further. So listen into this podcast episode and share with your friends that may want to be understanding. And I want to support you right now to let you know that you are not crazy. You are not making these things up. You are having spiritual experiences. So first, I want to dive into there's three types of voices, all right, in your head. There is the voice of spirit, and we'll talk more about that. There's also this authoritative trauma voice that can come from past trauma, say from your parents. So maybe that voice is telling you you're a piece of crap or you're not responsible enough. It could be a negative type of voice. This is more of an authoritative trauma loop that you have that goes with your neuro pathways in your brain, that they're it's so ingrained that it's just this constant trauma loop. That's not your voice. That is just something that you've picked up from the trauma. And then of course you have your own voice when you're thinking to yourself. So it's an interesting way that I help my clients discern which type of voice they're hearing. Because if it's that authoritative trauma voice, we want to start working with those neural pathways to break that down, to recognize what it is, to recognize your past trauma, and start healing it, and to force yourself to start thinking in a more positive way so that that trauma voice gets smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And when we're talking about your mind chatter, that's 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day that you have that is just automatically going based off all of your past experiences as you've grown up. So that is not the voice of spirit. That is just you mind chattering away, right? You're thinking about hot dogs, you're thinking about what's for dinner. That is just, and if you hear it in your own voice, that is just thoughts in your head. Now, when it comes to the voice of spirit, you can have the voice of spirit inside of your head. It could be a voiceless voice. It could be an auditory voice, right? You could hear it inside of your head. Like it's not your voice. It's not that authoritative trauma voice. It's an actual somebody else's voice, but you're hearing it in your head. It can also be an auditory sound outside of your head. This is why I love coaching my clients and my psychic mediumship mentor, because it's so different for everybody. And it's really an investigative process on what it is that you're hearing, because you know that you want to make sure you're not crazy, you're not schizophrenic, right? A lot of people that hear these voices immediately think, oh my God, I have a mental health problem. And I'm here to stop that. I'm here to help you investigate, to find out what is really going on, and then shift things, right? Or grow things or manage things, right? So you understand your abilities, so you understand your gift. So when it's coming from the outside of you with spirit, a lot of times it will be in a public place and you will hear your name being called, and you will look and no one is there. This is a classic example of a mediumship experience using clairaudience, which is psychic hearing. This is a perfect example of spirit speaking to you in an auditory way. They know your voice, or they know your name rather. And so they're going to call it because they can tell that you could hear them, and they could see that you have this light on, your mediumship light on. So they're going to try to approach you in public places so that you will potentially, once you develop, be able to receive their message from them and deliver it to the lady that's standing next to you in the bride aisle that used to be their wife. This is a classic example of mediumship, hearing your name being called. Clairaudience, which is the psychic hearing, which is the voices in your head, ties very much into mediumship, because the spirits have a way to have a direct phone call to you per se, versus some of the other abilities, seeing and feeling and knowing. It can, those abilities definitely can go into mediumship. But when I'm talking about the voices, this is a direct message from your spiritual team that you are being called to work with spirit, with past loved ones, mediumship. However, let me add, you have free will. So if you are absolutely not, do I want to be a medium? No, I don't want to hear my name being called. You don't have to work with them, but they're showing you these signs to let you know that they want you to, that you have the ability to develop into becoming someone different and working with and for spirit, right? It's a direct link to mediumship. Some of the other ways that you can hear that people get all the time, if people find my videos on YouTube or this podcast episode, or if you're watching this on YouTube, is they hear voices coming from other sounds. So, like right now, my air conditioner just clicked in. Hopefully, you guys don't hear that on the podcast. But if I focused and they wanted to get a hold of me, I could hear voices probably coming from the air conditioner. Oftentimes, I will hear like specifically angelic songs coming from the bedroom fan, or you're just laying there and you're tired and your fan is on, and all of a sudden it turns into choir music. This is also hearing, psychic hearing, clairaudience, but you're hearing it from different sounds, like white noise. Like if I have a sound machine. If I focused on that and opened up, I would probably hear them start talking to me. Or if like you're running a bath, you might start hearing voices coming from the water. Or if you're running your vacuum cleaner, you might start hearing voices coming from the vacuum cleaner. These are all symptoms of you being asked to pay attention and to learn how to hear. So another thing that happens when you have this tendency, right? And I want to call it a tendency, because you haven't developed into it. You don't know how to use it. You don't know what it is. You don't know why it's happening. So this is a tendency. But another blessing that comes along with this tendency, once you develop into it, is working with the angelic realm. So just like I said, mediumship, that's more dead people, right? That's more passed on people. But angels are like, the little angels that float on the clouds, God's right hand man, women. They specifically, I don't want to say they specifically, because angels will work with you with all of your clairs. But when it comes to psychic hearing, clairaudience, angels really love to work with somebody that's clairaudient. And a lot of times it's song based. A lot of times it'll be, you'll hear songs that actually has a message, or you're a songwriter, or you're a singer. That's a huge sign that you have this tendency. And that the angels want to work with you, because the angels freaking love songs. They love music. They love to help you write it. They love to help you write books, right? When we're writing, it's coming, right? Especially if we're working with spirit, we're channeling it through. And that's usually coming from the angels. Archangel Gabriel specifically, the blue angel, loves to help people write books. But other angels will also help you learn to sing and write music and all that. But again, here's the thing with these voices in your head. And this is why a lot of people find me and they reach out to me. So if you haven't found me on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast, go to Brandaleen Johnson on YouTube, because I have a lot of free content there for you. But also, if you're wanting to learn how to control it, right? Because it's happening randomly to you, how to manage it so it happens to you when you want it to and when you don't want it to, right? How to manage it. How to strengthen it. You don't know how to strengthen it. You don't know how to use it, right? And you don't understand why this is happening to you. But again, why it's happening to you is because you're being called. You're being called into action. You're being called to change this paradigm. You're being called to shift the way communication is being done. And this is where we're going. This is where we're evolving. And I'm here to help the people that are ready to step into their new self, to step up into their abilities, to start using them and bring spirit and anchor the light down to our planet. So if that's you, then you want to look at my Awaken program. It's enrolling right now. It's evergreen. You definitely want to dive into it, because I will teach you not only how to do all these things, learn why it's happening to you, manage it, strengthen it, but I'll help you learn how to use all of your other abilities as well. And your entire life will change. Your life purpose will change, or it will definitely be enhanced. Your relationships will change, and you will become a new version of yourself that's here to create change on this planet. So I am sending you guys all so much love. It's okay if you have voices in your head. We got you.